Hello, and welcome to Twin Peaking, where I showed my friend Jay my personal list of worst to best episodes of Twin Peaks, and she sees if she can figure out what the show is. If you're liking the show, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and tell anyone you think might be interested. Also, please make sure to go follow my friend Jay at twitch.tv/JanuaryK. That's January K-A-Y. Without further ado, let's get into it. If you want to give a countdown.
Oh yes, right. Fuck. I was like waiting for you to be like, "Hey Jay." Okay, right. Okay, 3, 2.
I guess I'm gonna leave all of this in here. This is all the intro now. Just us sitting silently for a second and be like, waiting for the other person.
Yeah.
Hey Jay, how's it going?
Hi Mac, I'm good. How are you?
Hanging in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't really have anything intro prepped for this. I'd be like, hey, this, that, or the other. I feel like there's something I did need to bring up, and I can't recall what it was. Like there was some Twin Peaks thing that I was like, oh, I need to talk about this or bring this up, and like I've lost it. I don't know what it is. So hopefully that drives all of you as crazy as it's going to drive me during this episode.
Yay! Okay.
Yeah. What are you up to? Do I ask about your personal life here?
I think so. Yeah, okay. You do. I think you do sometimes.
Okay. All right.
What am I up to? I bought 2 games during the Steam summer sale.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
What'd you get?
Yeah. I got the Game of Life and Costume Quest for Halloween. Not to date when this episode comes out, but like
it is
I'm
Halloween.
excited.
I've pitched to you something that you absolutely don't want to do, which is watch me play Silent Hill 2.
Oh God.
And you're like, no, that's scary. I'm not going to do that. like I pitch you a lot of ideas, and usually when you turn them down, you're like, not that you turn down a lot of them you're okay with, but a few of them you're like, no, not really, not for me. This one you're like, no.
Yeah, I will literally cry. So.
Yeah, but it is related because Silent Hill is very largely influenced by Twin Peaks.
Yeah,
so
that's true. Yeah, I had no idea, but that's very cool. I love that.
I think if you watch me do Silent Hill 2, you will be like, okay, I see some of the influence here, but like I think from an outside perspective, you'd be hard pressed to be like, wait, these two are like interconnected besides it being like some kind of small town. Yeah.
Oh, Mac, you're like convincing me. Like, because that sounds cool to see, but like scary game.
And you wouldn't be playing it. And
that's true.
I know that game. I know the new remake Silent Hill 2 in and out. So it would be like a 4 or 5 hour playthrough, like if that. Maybe I'm starting to tilt the scales a little bit.
Convinced. I'm a little convinced. Okay, you know what? Okay, talk to me in like a couple hours,
sure,
and we'll see.
okay, sure. No, I was looking to bring that up so you could drag me about it, but I didn't think it would end up working in my favor. All right.
Because like it's not me playing, right? It's not me playing it, so it's like
exactly.
I can just hide my face, and there will still be progress to be made.
Yeah, you don't have to hold the controller, so you could like bundle up, and you could have like a stuffed animal or something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Have you watched any of the Log Lady intros since we last talked?
Oh my gosh, I had planned to do it last weekend, but I got distracted doing something. So I actually know, but like it is like that is on the to-do list just to catch up on Log Lady stuff. So hopefully by the next time we record, I actually did do that, because like that has been like pretty high up there on my priority list. I just forgot. So
yeah, I think that like the largest narrative arc that we've had throughout this experience has been your kind of coming around on the log lady.
Yeah.
Of like, initially you're like, okay, I semi like this as like an introduction of being weird or whatever to the show. And then you find out she's an actual character. And then you start to like really dislike her and be like, woman, like, what are you doing? And then like the eventual turnaround from there to be like, oh, okay, I'm kind of being won back over.
Yeah.
It's been like the most interesting narrative arc in this entire project, actually.
You're right. You're right.
But yeah, I don't have anything else to say. This is a been a really roughshod intro, but we're gonna get into the episode. I think
I'm excited.
Oh dear, yeah. So yeah, I guess buckle up. I'm excited for this episode. I don't remember exactly what happens in it.
Okay.
But I know that I really like it. So
okay. Okay. I'm hyped.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and hit play.
Play the movie. Bow, bow, bow.
I was thinking that it would be really fun. Like, I can't do it next time I show this to someone, but like I'm having a hard time justifying watching it just by myself.
Okay.
Just because I've seen it so many times, but I think it would be fun to like do a CRT edit of it to make it look like a real CRT thing, but like in the high definition and watch it. Because like when I did that a little bit for the stuff we were editing, it really does kind of change the vibe. And like I've always known this. It's big for video games, but it's also big for like it was for like movies and stuff of like they had designed it with the idea of like televisions that would be like tubed out, you know, and like have specific colors and know about the CRT stuff. They do that with the color, that kind of color theory in mind. So when we watch stuff now, the reason why it has such a distinct different color palette, not just this show but all stuff from this era, is because they were designing with that in mind rather than high definition. And so like I kind of want to go back and do that, but I can't afford a CRT. All right, intro's over, so now we have to actually lock in.
You were there.
I know.
You saw that.
Every time I see, every time, like during the intro, I don't really think that, but whenever they do this as like a cutaway or whatever, I think that. Well, not to tilt the scales, but what a fucking good episode, man.
That is a very good episode.
not to tilt the scales on but oh my god, as I was watching that, I was like, this is it. This is what I love so much. So that was season 2, episode 2, Coma. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so general vibes at the start of the episode. How are you feeling?
I feel good about it. My immediate thought is, and I had this thought throughout the episode, and I'll point it out on scenes that I'm sure you would know when they come up, but like it's really cool to see the plot lines of where things started and how intriguing they are. It's just a shame on some of how these end. So I guess when we get to those scenes, we'll get there. But yeah, that's how I generally feel of like, oh, I can see why people got hooked on storylines on this show, because they start off very, very well, at least with the ones that I'll point out. So yeah, I'm excited.
Well, like there's nothing in this episode, even the quote unquote worst part of this episode, that I think most people have, which is, to fast forward a little bit, the song.
Yes. Okay.
Like that's still like iconic in its own way of being like kind of fun, kind of like you've heard that song before, not with them singing, but like when they do the Evelyn Marsh stuff and it's like about like James and Donna, like when they're kind of separated, but like he's having his little thing about like, oh, do I stay with Evelyn Marsh? Do I go back? Like that. This song was playing, right? But like, you know, it's kind of its own meme in its own way. But like, even the quote unquote bad stuff here is like really. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like actually still good in a weird way. And I think that entire scene we'll have to talk about because it's one of my favorite sequences. Because I don't think you can have the second half of that scene without the first half of that scene.
I agree.
So people talking about the song or whatever, it's like, yeah, it's corny and cheesy, but you need that for what happens next. So,
right.
But that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other conversation.
Yes.
But like outside of that, like nothing about this episode feels like it falls flat. Like the worst parts of this episode are an 8.5 for me.
Right.
Right. But yeah, I'm glad that you seem to also like this one and like that the fact of where stuff goes doesn't impact your enjoyment of this. Real quick, slight spoilers for the Log Lady one for this one.
Okay.
But literally, I think this is the episode where she opens up and she's like, I hope Norma doesn't think I hate her because I actually like her a bit. Like her whole thing in this one is being like feeling bad about like how she comes across to Norma.
My God.
I hope she knows I like, and like she's like, I love the pie here. And like, because it starts off talking about like the pitch that she chews, like the gum or whatever.
Yeah.
And like it's all metaphorical. And then there's a beat and she's like, I hope Norma knows that I don't dislike her. Like something like that. It goes into it. It's so great. And so when I saw that scene in there, like I was losing it with that context. Like I think in the reaction I started laughing, but like you didn't have context for why. So this is the context for why of like
okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So we do start. Are you ready to get into it, or are there any overall notes that you want to touch on?
Go for it. Okay. Go for it.
Yeah, so we start with Albert and Coop getting brekkie, and he's talking about like old like the happy generation of kings from Tibet, right? And Albert's like, okay, how's that that's relevant? Like, Albert's like a little bit whatever about it, but he does care enough to make a joke a little bit later, and like he follows up about Coop's health, because we find out that Coop got shot 3 times, so you know we've now narrowed it down to 2 episodes where that could have happened, because we knew this happened from the first episode we had it. The very first episode we watched was like Albert talking about him getting shot 3 times and figuring out who did it. So yeah, we now have narrowed it down to either season 1 episode 8 or season 2 episode 1. Yes. And they talk a little bit about the case and the man that Coop has seen and Sarah Palmer has seen in visions, who we know is Bob. And Albert reveals that his old partner Wyndham Earl has fled the asylum. What do you make of this scene? And then we also, to end it off real quick, we do get a little view of Asian man, 2 exclamation marks, looking at Coop there, or the agents.
Yeah. I like the detail of the quartet in the background. I don't know why that, like, they're just there, you know, serenading the brunch goers. I just like why, but also I love that they're there. You know?
I think that's like a key thing in like that is like highlights what era of Twin Peaks we're in a little bit, is like in the prime era of Twin Peaks, there's just stuff like that. Like you're like, okay, like why is there a quartet singing in the background? But like it adds like this flavor and stuff that like I feel like the second half of season 2 doesn't really get doesn't do the same way, right? Like they'll highlight, and if they have it in the second half of season 2, they'll highlight it as in like, isn't this so quirky? Well, like in this scene, I didn't even bring it up, but like, it is just happening in the background. It's not like a focal point or anything. They're just having breakfast while this quartet's singing in the background.
Yeah. There's a certain, I've noticed in the earlier episodes that there is a certain air of whimsy just like sprinkled in throughout different sections. Like the latter half of season 2 still has those quirky moments and like those like sprinkles, but like they're like highlighted sprinkles. Like they are very much like, take a look at this, like we're still funny kind of deal. Like, look, we're doing a funny thing kind of deal, where there's been times in these later episodes that we're now watching where it's like the funny is not the focus and it's kind of just there, but that's what makes it kind of fun to like point out and see kind of deal, you know.
I think you accidentally nailed it in word choice there, where it feels like in the second half of season 2 it's quirky, while in the first in the prime Twin Peaks it's whimsy.
Right?
Like,
I think you're
there's
right.
a little difference there that I think you subconsciously nailed when you were talking about it in the second part, because because whereas dark, it feels like in the second half, like it's neither as funny because they're focusing on the funny, but not as dark either because they don't allow it to focus.
Right.
While in the prime Twin Peaks, it's like a lot funnier because it allows it to be whimsical, allows it to have its comedy or whatever, but then also allows it to be a lot darker to contrast that, you know?
Right. I agree. Yeah.
So,
and that happens a lot throughout this episode too.
No, this episode's a riot. Like this episode was so funny. And then it has like some of the best horror sequences. Like, okay.
Yes, I was about to say there's some horror shit in here too that's like really dark, and then randomly there's like the 2 tape scenes with Andy, and you're like, oh my god, like
oh lord, the second time with Lucy and them talking actually like legitimately upsets me like every time I rewatch it. Not in like but like, where does Lucy get? We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get to there.
God.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, anything to comment on about that initial scene there?
I am glad that the seeds of Wyndham Earl are planted early. Like I'm glad that, like, I had this comment the last episode that we watched too about there was some seed planted, but I can't remember what it was.
The supernatural shit, probably, right?
Yeah, the supernatural shit, yes. The supernatural shit is like really early into the show. And then like seeing that Wyndham Earl was planned, like he's not just like, you know, I guess I'm just so used to modern soap opera where like they'll introduce something like, you know, season 17 episode 4, and then it fully is realized on season 17 episode 6, you know, like 2 episodes later, where it's like fully realized, like it's not planted properly. And so I'm glad to see that, like, oh, they actually do build up like Wyndham Earl, his background, like here. I imagine that this is the first time that we've heard Wyndham Earl, at least. Yeah,
I think gives those vibes for sure.
Yeah, it gives those vibes of like, this is the first time that we've heard of Wyndham Earl and what Albert's doing there in the town and kind of stuff like that. So that's the only comment that I really had on this scene.
Okay, yeah, I think that's fair enough. I'll also think that is interesting because the show definitely does that version of soap opera too, like that we get with like the drug stuff that happens to Coop later. Like that gets wrapped up within like a couple of episodes. Right. And it kind of is introduced and then wrapped up within 3 episodes. And you're like, okay, what was this? So like Wyndham could have definitely been something like that. I think the tragedy of Wyndham Earl is how he ends up being realized rather than like the actual seeds of like including his stuff in there, you know, like
Right,
I think they
right.
do a good job setting it up, but then they let these other directors and story runners play with the toys that they set up rather than realizing it themselves. But yeah.
Right.
But it's 100% interesting. Like some of this stuff is set up so much earlier than you kind of expect it to be.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. But yeah, no, that's kind of a sweet little conversation. I highlighted to you that Albert had like a bruise around his eye from where Harry hit him.
Yes.
But yeah, kind of a nice little scene between the two, with even Albert cracking some jokes. He has some choice lines in here, talking about a waiter that you've met before, but like in passing, because in episode 9 there's this old waiter who talks to Leland and he's like, your favorite gum's gonna come back into style, right? Which was like one of the clues that led Coop to think that it was Leland. And then earlier in that episode, he's there with the milk. So that's the waiter that they're talking about. And
right.
Albert says like the world's most decrepit waiter is one of the things he says. And then like,
is that what he said?
Yeah. No surprise that his mind wanders. Senior drool cup.
Senior drool cup was the thing that freaking got me. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah. So with that context of who he's talking about, you're like, oh yeah. He's like a famous actor in his own right too. Like at the waiter, he was like big in like old westerns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so after that, we get Donna going to Meals on Wheels to Mrs. Tremont's house. I've referenced this scene before.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we hadn't seen it, and that's on me.
I thought you were talking about a different. I remember when you brought it up. I thought you were talking about a different kid. Like I just straight up thought you were talking about a different kid. Like I can't. It's the. I thought you were talking about. There is a kid that comes up. I don't know how I mixed this up in my head or how I thought that this was the kid that you were talking about. It's the kid in the veterinary office. I thought you were talking about that kid. And I was like, oh yeah. And I thought I just like didn't remember a scene.
Didn't catch it
when you were referencing him.
Yeah.
So I don't think you spoiled anything for me. I think you were just talking about that kid. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. A little bit of a bummer because I would have loved to have like heard your reaction to this kid saying Jesus, whatever the I am a lonely soul line that we realize is relevant to Harold later. He in this scene as well, you have seen these two before though, but like in Missing Pieces, it's just like there's so much missing context for you about that. But you have seen them in passing in there.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so Donna shows up, goes to Mrs. Tremont's house, which we've seen the real Mrs. Tremont at this point.
Yes.
For you and I. This is not them, which makes that scene even weirder. Now that you've actually seen this part. Again, I can't believe I fucked this up so hard. I've generally been pretty good about not referencing things that haven't happened.
You have been, yes.
This is a big one, and I can't believe I fucked this up. But so she enters and she gives Happy Gilmore's mom the food from Meals on Wheels. And because that actress is Happy Gilmore's mom, that movie. Have you not seen Happy Gilmore?
I've seen Happy Gilmore, but like in passing, like not like invested into it. Yeah.
It was one of Adam Sandler's last funny movies.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But yeah, so hands the food to her, and she's like, I didn't ask for cream corn, or I didn't want cream corn. I said no cream corn. Does it look like there's cream corn there? And Donna's like, yes. And then she like asks the question again. Donna looks back down. It's gone. She looks over to mini David Lynch, which, like, yeah, that is David Lynch's son. He is just a miniature copy of David Lynch. And he's just like holding cream corn in his hands. And then Grandma's like, he's been practicing magic. And then, like, when she looks back over, he like lets go and it's all gone. Yeah. This scene is more important than I think you realize.
Yes, I do think there is stuff here that I do not have the context for sure.
But it's not for stuff you had. This becomes so. It only becomes important later in the show, not earlier in the show.
Oh.
So we wouldn't have had the context for this either.
Oh, interesting.
It's just fucking weird, man. But I do want to talk about something that you won't have context for, and I'll have to try to talk around it.
Okay.
I'll drop some words, and I won't explain what they mean. Okay. People talk about how these things need Garmin Bogia people ascribe that to an entirety of thing that happens in the show. And I think that this shows that, like, no, only specifically some things require Garmin Bogia. It's a very specific thing. They all require different things going on. I have to be so vague about this.
Yeah, I'm trying to pick up what you're putting down.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid you picking up anything I'm putting down. That's I'm talking around this so you don't pick anything up. So, like, because Garmin Bogia is a very specific thing, has very specific imagery, I think that goes to show that, like, not all things need Garmin Bogia. They all need different things, so they all have different things going on in the background. Sometimes in theory crafting, I hear people say that, like, oh, Garmin Bogia is important for all of this stuff, and it's like, no, it's specific to one thing in particular. This kind of proves it. Okay. Hopefully you didn't understand any of that. I was trying real hard to make it not understandable for you. I hope it makes sense to people who theory craft about this show, because that's who this rant is targeted for. If you have a theory, if you watch a theory that says that all of this stuff needs Garmin Bogia, like this shows that that's not true. Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
Okay. But so he makes the cream corn disappear. And she's like, oh, that's very impressive. Did you know Laura Palmer well? And Grandma's like, no, but eventually points her to Mr. Smith, who we know is Harold. And she leaves and goes to knock on Mr. Smith's door to deliver the food. He doesn't answer. She leaves a note. He peeks out of the window and she leaves. You have a lot of notes for both the first scene and this scene. I went through the events of what happened. I want to know what you're thinking about what happened and talk about all of that stuff. Yeah, please. Floor is yours.
I mentioned during the reaction part while we were watching the episode, I didn't want to say that the kid looked like David Lynch, because, like, I thought that, like, it can be taken one way or another, right? Like, you know, when someone says, like, oh, you look like someone, like, is that a compliment or is that an insult, you know? And so I didn't want to say it because this is a kid, right? I was like, but, like, that kid, I was like, that's David Lynch. I was like, what is going on here? And then you said that was David Lynch's kid. And I was like, oh, okay, thank God. Because I was like, you know, I was a little worried there. But then, yeah, so, like, when that kid showed up, that was all I could think about, was like, oh my God, like, that is David Lynch if he was a kid. And so, I guess I should have clocked that was his kid. I should have clocked that. But, like, for some reason, I was like, did they find, like, a kid that looked like David Lynch and put him in I was very confused, basically, for the first bit of the scene. And then the cream corn stuff, I don't like cream corn because I think it looks gross.
Yep.
And so when the kid was holding the cream corn, I was like, that's gross.
Yes.
I thought that was disgusting.
That whole sequence is upsetting.
Yeah. I saw in the credits sequence, like I made note of it because the credits were going on a little bit longer than I thought. Like, cause like I don't really pay attention to the credits once like the episode quote unquote starts, like after the intro sequence. But it went on a little bit longer into Albert and Coop's brunch scene. And so I was like, oh, like there's a lot of like guest starring, blah, 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 blah. And then I saw directed by David Lynch and I was like, and then I thought like, oh, is this like actually directed by David Lynch, or is it they just like putting his name on the show because like, you know, he created the show with David Frost. So like I wasn't 100% sure that he actually directed the episode. I thought they just kind of put his name on there. So I did see that though at the beginning.
Oh, but no, to talk, the reason I was going to bring that up is that like, this episode has that like something we've talked about in some of the season 3 stuff. Of where like it's like horror or dread, but not like in the normal way, right? Where like this is what people mean when they say Lynchian, when they talk about like other stuff, is like this sequence isn't what you would call horror necessarily,
but it's mad uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It
was a very uncomfortable. Yeah, unsettling is definitely a word I would use to describe that while I was watching that scene. Like very not fun to watch. Like it's fun, but like it was specifically when the kid was holding the cream corn. Like I kind of got like, oh, like this is creepy old lady vibes. Like, woo, spooky, creepy old lady, you know? And then the kid held the cream corn and I'm like, oh, I was like, that's when I clocked it. I'm like, I am madly uncomfortable right now. Like
it's
that
not
was
just
very uncomfortable to see.
It is like, oh, this whole thing is set up to be like, it's no longer playing the trope of like, oh, old lady who's kind of sick and that's uncomfortable. It's like, no, it's more than that. It is like in everything. Yes, exactly. So yeah, I felt very so that's how I felt during that scene. I thought it was very well done. Yes. At the end of that scene, Minnie David Lynch is like, I thought she was a sweet girl or something like that.
Yes.
Which is weird to hear from a kid that way. It sounds like a very old man thing to say, which is just also uncomfortable. So the entire thing is mad uncomfortable. Like, and it almost feels like you could feel the pressure release when she leaves. Like, even though Harold looking through the window or whatever is like weird or whatever too. But like, it feels like it's almost a release of pressure. And then they cut back in with them reacting to what's going on out there. And you could feel that pressure being reapplied. It's like really interesting how that works.
My only other comment, and this is one of the scenes that I'll bring it up in, is that like I like the start of like Harold. I think this is a very good introduction to his character, especially with the ending scene. Which I'll talk about. I thought it was very well done because, you know, I like that the lady was like, oh, like Mr. Smith knew Laura. And like, of course, Donna's stupid, but like Donna was like, oh shit, like, I gotta go talk to Mr. Smith now. And like, I thought it was a very good introduction to his character. So,
100%. The episode where we actually get introduced to his character just went up on the, just went up on the YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the most recent episode.
That was the one. Oh, okay.
Season 2, episode 3, the episode right after this. Yep.
All right.
I think that's correct. But yeah, so after that we get to, again, like, just that David Lynch does this so fucking well. I should like, the juxtaposition of something horrible and uncomfortable. I was talking about this in watching Cyberpunk with Violet, because we were watching Edge Runners as bonus episodes for the podcast I'm doing. This is not a review, where we're playing Cyberpunk slowly. A little plug there.
You plug that shit, Mac. That's
Thank
right.
You. Will
okay.
Do. But I was actually talking about David Lynch in there as well, because I'm obsessed. That this is something he does so fucking well, is like the juxtaposition, and we were talking about it earlier in this episode, of like comedy with something horrific.
Yeah.
So we go to this hospital where Ronette is like zoned out, not doing okay. She looks horrible. Like, not the actress. Actress looks fine, but like she looks like they did the makeup so she looks like really not okay. Which she wouldn't be, to be fair. She woke up finally after a coma where she was attacked. So as this is happening, Coop and Harry roll up these stools to sit on, and they're too tall. And so like Harry rolls it up and it's super loud, and the entire time like Coop is like, sorry, Ronette. Sorry. And then like like they're looking around on the stools on how to lower it. Harry starts spinning it, hoping that'll lower it. It doesn't work. And then like Coop tries to bend down, but like clearly he's injured from the gunshots, and Harry eventually gets under there and he starts reading out the instructions of how to lower the thing, and they're trying to like, it takes so long, which is a very David Lynch thing as well, is like holding a shot and holding a thing for an extremely long time, right? And they're trying to figure it out, and eventually they have to like pop it up, and it makes this loud noise before they could push it down to the level that they want it. Like this sequence is so funny.
It's so good.
Yeah, but like the way it opens, we're like expected to be like talking to like Ronette and like this woman who's been horribly traumatized, and it's like, and like we do get to that, and it does that part well too. But like this shit does happen. Like this kind of inconvenience happens no matter what. Like it doesn't matter how serious you're taking something or like how emotionally distraught you are. This shit will still pop up, right? And
exactly.
and so that juxtaposition makes this even funnier than it already is. Like we were both losing it to this. Like you took a second. I think it was just very quiet because I was holding in my laughter, and then you just like it. Suddenly out of nowhere go like, this is very funny, and we both lost it. Like it's, oh man.
My favorite part is when Harry like bent down and he's like reading the instructions on the bottom of the chair. It's just like, oh my god, it's just I like how it subverts your expectation of the scene a little bit, because like you're going expecting like, okay, we're gonna figure out like what Ronette went through, and then all of a sudden it's like completely derailed with this chair, and it's very funny. I thought it was good.
Like two things in Kyle MacLachlan's acting here really sell it too, of like him being injured trying to do it, and the way he keeps looking over at Ronette like apologetically, like, I'm so sorry about this. Like both of those things is combined with this as Harry's reading the instructions, like is so funny. And like they're like so tentative because they're trying to be quiet, but everything they do is so loud because like like they're moving very like as if it should be quiet and it's loud, which is always a funny joke. Like it's so as we're losing it, he eventually does start talking to Ronette, and is like, is this the man who hurt you? And as it goes, and she starts looking, and you know, props to her acting, like she does a great job in this scene. And so she tries to focus in, and the camera's blurry, and then focuses in on a guy, and I think you had like oh wow, you had a reaction to the first one. Where you were like it seemed creeped out by this. And then she's like, no, it's not him, and then pulls it away, and then asks about the second one, which is Bob, and she has a reaction to that. Starts like shaking and going train, but like never finishes out the word, and Harry goes to get help while Coop's like, are you in the train, what's going on? And she's like nodding, but like seemingly having a seizure at the same time, and eventually they're pulled away.
And she breaks one of the light things in the room too.
I don't think she breaks it. I think it breaks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that is a good point to bring up. Is like the scene doesn't just cut away with that happening. She's like shaking, and then the lights go out, and she's still there.
Yeah,
and we hear the light break. Yeah. I don't think it's her because by that point, I think she's already held down, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good scene, very good. I really liked that thing they did with like bringing the pictures up to her face, and it's blurry until it's not blurry anymore. I thought that was very good.
Yeah. Do you know what about that gave you that reaction, or was it just like everything like it refocusing from being comedy to this, and like it was just you thought it was well done? Or
I think it was the comedy paired with like that. I think just like I also think it's heightened by the uncomfortableness of the previous scene. Like I was already kind of like, ooh, like I don't feel comfortable right now. And then Coop comes in, and then like I can relax a little bit because it's Coop and Harry, and those two together can save the world, right? And then and then the chair shit, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, like I knew the thing. It's like I can't quite pinpoint what exactly it is, because when Coop brings out the pictures, the drawings of like the suspects, and like I knew that Bob was going to be that second one. Like you can't see it, but like I had a feeling, and then it's like the buildup of like it's Bob, and then like the confirmation of like Bob, but like I guess maybe it's paired with like how close the picture was to the camera, and like how it immediately went from unfocused to refocused, or like I don't know what it was, but like the buildup of everything before that I think definitely played into like, oh shit, like frick, it's Bob. And like the thing is like we know it's Bob, like he's the bad guy, like he has been the villain throughout, like, and I'm like I shouldn't be surprised, but that scene still caught me off guard, and I think that just goes to show how well all the scenes play into each other. So
well, it's also built up, even retroactively, it's built up this mythology around Bob, because he's not like a serial killer. If he was just like a serial killer, then like seeing him in this context, you're like, oh, okay, they're on the trail there. But knowing that he's not, knowing he's something else, right? Whatever that thing is, like seeing him actually just like appear even in this way, like feels like, oh fuck, right? Like, oh, and like watching it forward in the normal way, right? Up until this point, and Albert alludes to it, people have only seen him in like visions and seen him in like Coop's dreams, right? Like, and so like having her recognize him, like is like, oh, whatever this thing is that we're seeing as supernatural is in the real world as well.
Right.
Is kind of scary. But watching it from our perspective, where we like know he's this like thing, not like right. Which, you know, Frank Silva does great. There's a little cutaway sequence at near the end of the episode in Coop's dream where like he's just like doing like something like I hesitate to call it a smile, and he's also just like doing something that's not, but you're like, oh, that's not human. Like whatever that is, that's not human. Like way to go, Frank Silva. You are terrifying. Which makes like his inclusion in the show, I think I've told you about it, is like he got caught on camera doing something because he was like a set designer. And David Lynch was like, oh, you're scary. You're going to be in the show now. like just caught him on camera. Like the reason why he's in the jean jacket and stuff is like that's just what he was wearing on set. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, it's like that style. Like that. Like I think they dress him up or whatever. But like he's still involved in like the set dressing of most of the episode. Like he's still that's his primary job.
Oh my god!
But he had his actors guild thing, so he was able to be in the show. And so they were like, yeah, you're now in this, and now he's like an iconically terrifying character. and you're like, That's wild that happened in the first place.
That is wild.
And then he's so perfect for it.
Yes,
Like
I agree.
He is scary just being a person or not a person, as the case is. but yeah, like having him like, you know, show up there and her reaction to it is kind of like what builds that tension. And we're already kind of weirded out because of Minnie David Lynch and Happy Gilmore's mom.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. Yeah, that's upsetting. Anything else to say about this scene before you cut away?
I think we can move to the next scene here.
Which is again, just mashing it with comedy because like this entire scene is hilarious. Okay, so it's Ben and Jerry and Jerry's little smoked cheese pig, which is okay. So they're there talking about which book to burn. About the finances of the mill, which has gone up in smoke already. And Jerry's like, we need to burn one thing, and it's not going to be my smoked cheese pig. And so they're talking about the pluses and negatives of burning each, where we're Jerry's like, well, what about the real one? And he's like, and Ben is like, well, with the real one, it shows that the thing's going under, but I think I got this order reversed. I actually start with the fake one. Where with the fake one, it shows that it's doing okay, it's doing well, which means that when he gets the mill, like reselling that land, reselling that stuff will increase the value of it. So having a book that says it's doing okay means he could get more money from the sale.
Right.
But then if they do the real one where it shows that the mill is failing, then it'll hold up to any kind of scrutiny. They don't have to worry about getting caught out for fraud. They don't have to worry about, you know, needing a legal defense, right? Like,
right.
And so, and Jerry, he's so funny in this scene as he's asking about both while kind of munching on his smoked cheese pig. He has his knife uncomfortably close to his face as he's saying stuff, where he's like, well, depending on how you look or depending on your point of view, it looks like both of these books have merit. and Ben's just like, yeah, but we have to burn something. And since you don't want to throw in your smoked cheese pig, what do you say? And he walks over to his desk and pulls out marshmallows. And he's like, what do you say we do some marshmallows? And Jerry's like, marshmallows, where are our hickory sticks?
Yeah.
And that's the scene.
That's the scene.
Oh my god. Like, this is such like prime Ben and Jerry, where they're like up to no good. They are doing crimes, but they playing off of each other and obsessed with food and doing all like where it makes it hard to hate them. Like, they are so much fun. They are fun villains, you know? But like it's so funny. Like,
yes, yeah. I like this scene a lot too. I thought Ben pulling out the marshmallow, like the cheese pig was like already like it's funny, but like it's Jerry, and Jerry has always been like not the serious out of the two,
right?
And then Ben walks over and he pulls out the marshmallows, and you're like, oh, okay, they're related, they're brothers.
Yes.
Like the weirdness comes from somewhere. It's a reminder of where Ben comes from too, and so it's just like the good cherry on top
and
of
Ben's
that scene.
also always been obsessed with food too, separate, right? Like
yeah, that's
like
true.
Even as he's becoming a good person, he's pulling out celery and vegetables instead of sweets and all of this stuff. But like,
he's always munching
that's still
on something.
in his character. But you're absolutely right that I think from your perspective, you haven't seen this dynamic between them because largely it's been Ben on the back foot trying to recover.
Yes,
or like becoming a better person, right?
Yeah.
And so like you've seen that aspect of it, but this is like prime them before Ben is then put in jail, accused of murder, loses all of his stuff, right? Like this is before all of that, and you're like, oh, okay, Ben may like you said, be like the business mind who has to like stay on top of things, but they are related. Like they're not just unrelated characters. Like this is where you're like, oh yeah, they're clearly brothers. Like one may be the older brother who has to take care of things, but like they are brothers. Like
exactly.
Yeah. Very good, very funny scene that doesn't end up going anywhere. Like which is part of what I love about this scene is like if they had made a decision to burn one of the books and then pull out marshmallows or whatever, you'd be like, okay, so this scene went somewhere. Yeah. But it didn't do that, which I think makes the scene even better, where they just kept both and just made marshmallows instead, which I think it shows like a character thing rather than a plot thing, which is why fair. I like it as much as I do.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Yeah. I also think that I don't remember everything that happens about this plot line in episode 1 of this season. I think it might be there to remind people that they were involved with the mill fire and have the books.
Right.
But yeah, anything else to say about this before we move on to the next very funny scene? Okay.
Yes.
So then we cut to the double R where Andy Brennan is just covered in tape trying to post up the like, have you seen this man poster of Bob, but like he's really struggling hard with this tape. And then we cut to the major, and the major kind of like notices the rustling noises, looks over at him, and then goes back to what he's doing. And then we cut back to him, and he's wrestling. This scene goes on for so long too.
It goes on for so long. Like, Andy, brother, please.
It's just cutting back and forth between Andy and the major as Andy's struggling with it and making loud rustling noises with tape. Yeah. And the major's just kind of occasionally looking back over, and then going back to eating, and then looking back over. Like after like 4 times of that happening, the log lady walks in.
Yep.
Sits down next to the major, and Norma comes over, tells her like, hey, if you're gonna spit that out, don't spit it out on the table or the walls. Like, it's put it in a napkin. And then she orders her food, sitting next to the major, and eventually turns to the major, where she asks like, you have shiny things on your jacket. Are you proud of them? To which the major says, no, achievement is its own reward, and pride would just diminish it. Like, you're like, goddamn, like, dude, like, yeah.
I love him.
Yeah,
I love him.
You're right.
He's great.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I remember when you were first introduced to him, you weren't fully on board with him because you did think like you were like, oh, he's the military dad. And like the more we find out about him, the more you're like, he's just like a perfect man.
Yeah, he is. He is a beautiful, beautiful man.
Yeah. And then she's like, hey, similar to like with Coop in the first season around this time, she's like, my log has a message for you. Yes. Which if we remember back, like Coop did not react to that, and we were kind of like, what? Like, or I was, and you're like, yeah, well, he's new, and so like he's not all up to date on that. And I was like, no, he's always been weird. Like, but no, and the major's like, no, we've not been introduced. And she's like, I don't introduce my log. And you're like, okay. and then it's like, okay, well, what does it wish to say to me? And she's like, I will translate, and says, something like, you must deliver the message, or like
you must deliver the message. Yeah. That's the note I have here.
Yeah. And she's like, does that make sense to you? And he's like, yes, I believe it does make sense. Like, you know, again, showing just like how perfect of a man this guy is. He's like, you know, achievement's its own reward, and I don't take pride in all the medals I have. And also, like, I'm open to the spiritual. And like, as this lady's telling me this, it's like, I see how, yes, I do understand this. Like, you're like, if the show was about him, it's a different show.
That's true. I mean? You are so right. If the show was about Major Briggs. Oh, can you imagine a POV show of like what he's gone through?
I know.
Oh my god. I love him. He's a great character.
Yeah, 100%. He's so important to this show, too.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. I think part of it, as much as Coop is like the heart of it, like yes, Harry goes through shit too. Yes, Hawk goes through shit. Like everyone goes through shit, but like more so Major Briggs. And I wouldn't consider him like a main character, but he is a big part, like a huge part of the show and like what goes on in that town. And so it's nice. I think that's why I like him, that he's not the main character and like, you know, but there's like a heart to him that is part of the show that I really appreciate, like what he brings to the table and the plot lines of what's going on. So
it's not the exact dynamic, but it's like in a show where you have the main character in their group, and then there's like a person who's not in the group but is like a mentor. And like he's not quite a mentor to Coop in their group, but like that dynamic of like they're not part of the group, but when they show up, they add this heart and they add these layers of mystery and plot as well. Yeah, and can bring both, but they're not the main character. They just like show up to add that in, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Like Uncle Iroh in Avatar The Last Airbender. Like that. Like a little, there is a heart to, like I made that connection in my head just now. Like there is a heart to Major Briggs that he brings to the show that no one else can really bring like that. And so,
does that make Bobby a Zuko?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends.
Bobby,
it depends on how he turns out. It depends on how he turns out in season 3. You haven't seen if he's in that season at all yet.
You're right. You're right. I have not encountered him.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So you know, maybe he's a Zuko and Major Briggs is absolutely an Iroh. But you know. Yeah, so any feelings on this scene as a whole besides us gushing about Major Briggs?
No, you know what? I like like I said, I've turned around on the log lady a bit. I do like her. I like that she shows up here. I like that she talks to the log, blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Okay, good. That's really what I was wondering, because like, again, I think there's a version of this character, and I think we'd see this version in more modern shows, or not even modern, but like any show that would have this type of character of like the mystical log person, where like they are like kind or misunderstood or just off in their own world, but she is off in her own world, but like she comes off as like a little bit brusque, a little bit like when she's off in her own world, it's not like Luna Lovegood, for example. I think there's most modern versions would do a Luna Lovegood.
A Luna Lovegood, I agree. Yeah.
While like, you know, of course, it's like the David Lynch Mark Frost version is like not about that. Like, you know, like,
she's got edge to her.
Exactly,
she's got a bit of an edge.
Yeah. Which I appreciate. Not only does it feel more real, but like, you know, that edge like allows her to be a person.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's nice. Then we're at the sheriff's station with Lucy and a fly that's very loud. I think this is, I don't know, but we actually get a resolution to this fly thing.
Oh.
In an episode we've seen.
Oh, okay.
Where there's a fly that continues to buzz around and annoy her, and then she like smacks it, and it's like with Andy and Dick there, and it's like too much blood for the fly. Remember, it was like super gross, and like she slaps it with the fly swatter, and it's like really gross with too much blood on.
I think I remember that.
It's when It's when they were talking about like the devil kid who turns out like not to be a devil.
Oh yes,
and, like,
yes. Yeah. Okay, I do remember that.
At the end of the scene, while they're crying, she slaps in. There's that fly that has way too much blood.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is part of that. Which is a weird thing to call back to.
That's very funny.
Yeah. But yeah, so she's doing that, and Andy is kind of pacing outside. He says tape on him. He walks in, opens the window to talk to Lucy, and Lucy's pissed and is like, "There's no messages for you, Deputy Brannon," and then shuts the window. And then he opens it up, and God, there's some lines that he says here that are like so funny in the way he delivers them. I don't think I could imitate it because I've never gotten the Andy impression down. But he's like, "I went to the sperm bank to donate sperm." I already fucked up the line where they were asking for sperm donations, and of course I went because I love whales. Like.
And it's my civic duty. He says civic duty.
No, yeah, that's what it is. He's like, of course I went because it's my civic duty and I love whales. Like the way he leans, like there's this like slide into saying I love whales that is so funny. I'm like Brennan. But this is where he tells her that he is sterile.
Yes.
And he's like, so what I want to know is, how are you pregnant if I'm sterile? And then he's like, okay, that like as she gets up or whatever, he's like okay with like a kiss and make up about it. Like he's not upset. He's okay with that. He's not upset.
Yeah.
He just wants to know what's going on.
Yes.
And she pulls the tape off of him and shuts the window like she's pissed at him.
Yes.
Girl, you just got caught cheating.
Yeah.
100%. But like this is like if you remember back to when we watched season 1 episode 7 where she told him she was pregnant.
Yeah.
And that reaction, and where she's like pissed off initially, and you're like at that time you known that he had thought he was sterile and it come around on the other side where he's not. But during that time we discussed like, when do we think that like he mentions that to her, or like this whole like plot line gets called. When does she get called out for cheating? This is it. This is the most she gets called out for.
That's a big jump between the like, because like so there's episode 8, 9, and then season 2 episode 1. 3 days, right?
No, it's just 8 and season 1. There's no 9.
Okay. So it's 2 days. It's literally 2 days. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Her reaction here upsets me.
Yeah.
Why is she pissed off? She's the one cheating.
I love Andy. Like I know we make fun of him a lot, and like, you know, he is stupid. But like Andy also has a heart to him that like he brings to the team, like the sheriff team, that no one else can. Yeah. And so seeing him, like, yeah, you're right. Like he's not upset at Lucy. He's just confused. Like he's just a confused puppy who's like, I don't know what's going on. Like what is happening here? And so it is a weird reaction from Lucy's end. It's very and knowing the scenes that come up here, like she's also like pissed at Dick too a little bit, right? Like she's like not like it doesn't really like I don't understand her motivations of where her anger is placed. And so it's just a bit odd to me. So yeah, I don't know what to think of that. I like Andy though. Andy in this scene's good.
Yeah. Well, like, and if he wasn't sterile or didn't know that, like, the idea would be that they just got together because she's pregnant, but like, she has to know that there's the opportunity that it was Dick's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because like she gets Dick involved later after finding out that Andy's not as sterile as he thought.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I don't know.
I don't quite get it. Maybe it's I don't know. It doesn't seem well thought out of like what her motivations are.
Well, I do get. She's just angry that she's in this situation in the first place, where she thought like, all right, well, I'm pregnant, so that means Andy and I are going to be this thing, and then he didn't react the way that she thought he would. And so she's pissed off in general, finds out that she got caught with her hand in the cookie jar, and is pissed about it. rather than feeling shame about it, you know?
I guess, yeah, I guess. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done if I could rewrite that scene. It just didn't, the anger is where I think it doesn't make sense for me with that. Whether that's a line or something, I don't know.
No, I don't know either. You know, I think it's a larger structural flaw because she's never called out for this part of the behavior.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, I think this is fine for her to react this way if, like, when Coop eventually pulls her aside and says, hey, what's going on with this whole Dick and Andy thing? She explains what happened, but she's never, like, chastised for it or shows regret for it. Or, like, or even, like, even if you're not going to show the regret and chastisement for, like, the cheating, because, you know, I think it is kind of left gray whether it's cheating or whether they're not, like, a thing and we're just hooking up. Like, it's kind of left a little gray there. But, like, she doesn't feel bad about her reaction to all of this. And she's never called out for it. So that's why this feels weird. It's because it just moves past
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But, you know, there are great lines in here, though, like the oh, I love Wells, and there's another one that he said that you cracked up at, and I'm trying to remember what that one was, in that same thing. But yeah, no, that part of the scene's great. So then we go to Hank hanging out in the sheriff's office. Which is extremely awkward because Harry and Coop walk in and have him sign. He does the worst job signing I've ever seen. He holds the pen very far back in the pen. It's very large strokes. It's not like a signature thing either. It's like a couple of lines and a dot. So a horrible signature that takes up at least a third of the page. It's really weird. But Hank's trying to be somewhat buddy about it, tease Harry, but like Harry's not having any of it. And so as Hank leaves, that's where we find out that Hank used to be a bookhouse boy. Yes. Which you now know what it is because of the last episode. So that worked out really well.
It did.
I have a problem with this, but how do you feel about all of this before I get into my problems?
Again, Hank is a dick. I don't like him. The domino on his keychain is also, I made note of that I saw that. Hank does a good job of being a dick. I don't like him. And then there's a weird like it would make sense if Harry and Hank had a more awkward tension after revealing that, or before revealing that he is just was the bookhouse boys. But like there was another scene in a previous episode that we watched where I was like, I was kind of rooting for Hank, where I was like, why is Harry being such a dick to Hank? Like I know Hank eventually, you know, karmic, he deserves it. But like in that moment, right, it was when he had first been released on parole and he's working the diner with Norma. And like from any other front point, like he just looks like is a husband supporting his wife working at the diner. And I was like, why is Harry being such a dick to Hank? You know, in this moment, I kind of defended Hank in there a little bit. And again, I'm going to come to Hank's defense here. Like Hank was being a weirdo of like waiting in the office. Like that was weird. And Hank was being a dick. And when Harry said, I imagine Lucy told you to wait outside. And he said, might have. And like, okay, Hank, you're being a little dickhead right now. But like, there's a weird awkward tension where there is so much vitriol you can feel from Harry coming towards Hank. And then it's revealed that, oh, he used to be a bookhouse boy. He used to be like one of, I can't remember the phrasing he was, but he was like, he was one of the best of us or something. Yeah. And so like I I guess I can understand from Harry's point of view, basically, like Hank basically, quote unquote, betrayed the Bookhouse Boys by, you know, doing crime and doing time. But like, I don't know. I guess I just expected a little bit more forgiveness on Harry's end, but maybe he's had to deal with Hank's shit for so long that he's run out of steam. But yeah, it was just like, there's a bit of subtext that I can infer from Harry's reaction to Hank and how Hank reacts to him. But like, I don't know. It's just kind of like, it's all weird. It's all weird.
Yeah, the books don't make it better. No, because like one of the things, like in the books, it directly contradicts some of the stuff that happens in the show.
Okay.
Which I think is intentional because of certain things that go on. But one of those things is that like apparently like for their high school game, he intentionally threw the match to help with to get other people who were gambling on the game to win.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then like that's not what got him caught out or whatever, but like everyone rallied around him to help him with that. Right. Like the reason why he and Norma ended up together is because like while Ed was off at war, he stole those letters and hid them. Oh, which I think like there's like a lot of that kind of stuff in there. Okay. And like I forget what eventually gets him like known to be more criminal rather than just like his current thing is like manslaughter because of drunk driving. Right. But like there was something about it that like I think tipped Harry off that there was more to what was going on, you know? But yeah, no, it's it doesn't help this weirdness between the two. I hate this whole Bookhouse Boys thing. I brought it up last episode of like
you did, yeah.
It's presented like it's like this like secret society, like even Coop says it's a secret society, but like it's brought up like a secret society that's fighting off the spiritual stuff, right? And like doing that, but then like immediately it goes into like it's the drug running, and it's like okay, right? And then like you know you find out that like oh, it's a thing that they came up with in high school. It's not even like that old. And like, he used to be one of us. Like it feels juvenile when like it's presented as like a bigger picture thing, right? And then it turns out it's like just like literally like as if they had like a golf club. Yeah. Right? Like this group of guys goes golfing every week and we call ourselves the Bookhouse Boys. I know it's a little more than that because they are trying to stop cocaine being dealt to kids. But like that is the style of it, you know? Like that's fair. Yeah. But it's initially presented as more. And then like having Hank be part of it, you're like, oh, is he gonna be involved in XYZ thing? No, like all the stuff he's involved in is like separate from any of the Bookhouse Boys stuff doesn't matter again. It's just set up to be like a bigger betrayal of Harry. Like I think it's all silly.
That's fair. That's very fair.
That's just me though. So people have latched onto it, like they have patches for the Bookhouse Boys and stuff for like people who are fans of Twin Peaks and stuff.
Oh, that's cute.
Sure, that's fine. If that's what you've latched onto, that's okay. It's one of the more disappointing aspects of the show for me personally.
Very fair. That's fair enough. Yep.
Yeah. Well, like I always hate that in the first place of like if there's a spiritual thing going on and then it turns out there's this society that's like kind of built around it that's like always doing something about it. Then it's like, how do they, having been fighting this, not know more information than what we're given? Or they do know more information, it ruins the mystery. It's always more interesting if like this stuff is just happening and there's not a society. It's like this group that has to come together and form that society. Like that's always going to be more interesting is like, we don't have this information. We have to figure it out. We have to, right? Having a society that already existed doing that, like adds like a length of time that they've been doing this, but then it necessarily includes like either the society is incompetent because they don't have any extra information than what these new people have, or they're incompetent because they're not sharing that information with people who are actively fighting it, or they are competent, they share that information, and it ruins the mystery. There's not a good narrative way to do that, right?
Right. That's fair.
Yeah. But yeah, this whole scene's it's fine. I think it relies on us not liking Hank because of meta knowledge. Because I think you're right that from the perspective of like, if we didn't have the fact that we knew Hank was a criminal and doing all this other stuff, this scene doesn't play nearly as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
While they're in there, Ben calls Harry in a great exchange, taking us back to Lucy being like having to transfer the calls over. I love every scene of Lucy transferring calls or having to explain to someone too much information to get them to do something that they definitely know how to do, and the patience everyone has for it. Like, I love that so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ben calls Harry and lets Harry know that Audrey's been missing for 2 days. 2 days. 2 days. And Harry tells Coop, and Coop's worried about it. But Ben's fine with it, which, you know, we find out later, like, they have a confrontation about that, where later Ben is like, oh yeah, well, you know, she does this sometimes. She's gone this way. I want it known that she's gone in case she turns up and like let her know. But like, she just does this. So yeah. And Ben's not a great dad either, so this isn't a defense of him, just to be clear. But like, is why he's not necessarily worried about it. Is it's like it's always worked out before. Yeah.
Because in literally the next scene, he seems so nonchalant. He's like completely has moved on from the subject.
Yeah, exactly. So, so after this scene, Jerry walks in and is goes and talks to Ben about I'm trying to remember the exact get those, what was it, hairy ice blowers on the line or something like that.
I didn't catch that there.
Yeah. But talking about like the people that they're going to be selling to initially. And so they call they're about to start calling them up to inform them about the fire, and Leland walks in.
Yes.
Kind of upbeat, kind of different than we last saw him. He has the white hair. Yep. He's like, all right, I'm ready to get back to work. And so he's like, yeah, so I'm thinking we should call them to let them know about the fire, you know, kind of ease tensions, ease like worrying about it. And they both give him this look of like, yeah, we're doing that, but like he doesn't realize as he keeps talking. And then they pick up and start talking to Einhar, and
yes,
and he's like, oh yes, that's who you're talking to. And we find out that he's already called them and revealed to them that they've had this fire, and probably made it sound worse than either of them would have done it.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like they're all backtracking and being like, no, it's not devastating, it's not major, it's just one of those things that happens, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why Jerry walks in the first place is like being like, Catherine didn't sign her life insurance thing, so that's not going to Josie anymore. And then they're both kind of like, well, that's not our problem. She's dead, but we weren't gonna get that life insurance. That's a Josie problem. So hopefully we can hold off on it until we get the land, so that way, you know, she doesn't try to get more money out of us.
Yeah.
And so but then they go on the call with Einhar, and as Leland's trying to do his job but not as well as he used to, he sees the "Have you seen this man?" poster of Bob. I have a copy of that actually, that I got from the tour. He gave us this like rolled up little pin with a blue rose, and then you open that up and it's a poster, tiny poster, but it's a poster of the "Have you seen this man?" with Bob.
Oh, fun.
That is apparently an actual like photocopy from the real poster.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. Or like taken from the actual thing. It's not taken from the show. It, like he had gotten a image thing of it.
Yeah.
From people who were involved with the show. Yeah. So cute. He sees that. He starts like being like, I know this man. He lived next, back at the summer house on Pearl Lakes, he was the neighbor, which is reflected back at us in a scene we had seen later, if you remember that one, where he's like telling Coop and Harry and all of them, like, yeah, he used to flick matches at me.
Yeah.
And said something like, you want to play with fire or something like that. So yeah, he's acting weirded out while Ben and Jerry are like,
whatever.
Yeah, like, maybe you could go do my taxes instead of being involved in this. Like, go do something at your level right now. And like, he's like, I need to go talk about this. And Leland walks off. And there's this great shot that's just of Ben and Jerry. And Ben's like, Jerry, can you kill Leland? And Jerry is just like, is this real? It's so funny. I love that. Anything to talk about this scene, or is it just plot?
No, I think it's like, I made note that Leland hair is white now, so it happens between the last episode we saw and this one. So, yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah, so next we go to the hospital with Leo and Shelley and Doc Hayward. And this scene's basically getting us caught up on what's happened to him. Is like the oxygen got cut off to his brain, and that's why he's in a coma, and he's not likely to recover, which we know is only semi-true. And Shelley's kind of like weighing her options here of like, is he gonna go to jail? He's kind of in a prison of his own. And then as they eventually walk her away, we get this like long zoom into the reflection of Leo, where his eyes are like a little bit open, and the omniscience are coming in, which is really nice. If he ended up being more of a villain, besides the one scene where he's like chasing them throughout the house and then runs off into the woods, if he had a bigger thing in there, I think this would be a lot like, you know, more ominous in retrospect. We know that like he does try to kill Shelley initially, but then runs off into the woods and then is kept as a pet for Wyndham Earl. So like knowing that, this is kind of like, whatever. Yeah. Is there anything you want to say about this one?
No, nothing in particular. Poor Shelley.
Yeah,
poor girl.
No, she's not doing well.
Yes.
We get a call to Lucy. Where it's just on her, and she's like, well, I can't transfer you to Sheriff Truman unless I have your name. And the person keeps refusing to give the name, and she's like, well, I can't do that unless I have your name, and eventually like has to hang up. And that's the entire scene. What is this?
I for a second, I briefly thought that it was Leland, but like Bob in Leland trying to reach Harry and Coop. That was like my brief kind of theory of like, maybe it was that, and that's why he doesn't want to give his name, and that's why he's being like, it seemed like he was being aggressive on the phone with Lucy. I assumed it could be a she, I don't know, but like that was my first theory, was that it was Leland trying to contact Harry and Coop, but Leland as Bob-esque kind of deal.
I mean, I feel very similarly, but also we do have Leland come in, like I think it's the episode after this, maybe a couple episodes, where he comes in and talks to them both and gives all that information. So that seems odd to me,
right? Like I that was the only thing that I could think of was that it was Leland, because it kind of goes off of the scene of like with Ben and Jerry from earlier of like, I have to go tell Coop now, so like it wasn't a strong theory on my end, but
No.
it was a thought. It was the first thought that came to my head of like, is this Leland?
But like,
You know?
also, what else could it be? Like, I don't know. I don't remember if this is ever answered. So like, that's why I'm like, yeah, this is interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of similar to like the person who just keeps hiding behind people at the end of season or end of episode 7, right?
Yeah.
Like, or like there's times where they reference somebody being in the woods that they see, and like it's not like we ever get a definitive answer. A lot of that stuff is retrofitted onto Leland because we know he's a murderer, but like some of it you're like, well, maybe though.
Yeah,
right? Like,
exactly.
So yeah, there's a few things that are like that I think are very interesting. But yeah, so Lucy gets this weird call, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so then we go to One-Eyed Jack's, where Audrey's in a better situation than we've seen her at One-Eyed Jack so far, but we see how that ends for her, where she's kind of wandering around and goes and gets an ice bucket from one of the other workers, and she's like, no, I'll take care of it. And then we go into this room where we see that the manager is like all tied up, and a lady is vacuuming, and that seems to be his thing. Which is very odd.
Yep.
So Audrey comes in with the ice and then tells the other vacuuming lady to leave. It takes a little bit of convincing, but she does leave. And Audrey unplugs the vacuum, wraps it around manager guy's neck, and reveals that it's her to question him about who owns One-Eyed Jacks and like, were Laura and Ronette here? Where we find out they were here for 1 week, but were so high on drugs that they had to get rid of them. Which is like,
that's very funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's tragic when we know what's happened to Laura and like why she has a drug addiction and all this. But it is funny to be like, yeah, these young women that we've trafficked over here and have working here were so high on drugs that we didn't let them come back is kind of funny. You're running an illegal brothel. Yeah. or like at the very least, very gray, because, you know, are brothels legal in Canada? I don't think so. No. All right. I don't know. Like, so that's what I was going to ask, because I know certain other things are, like, I know the casino aspect is more legal. Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So that's more legal. And so there's some of that stuff. So I wasn't sure, but, no, like they're running this brothel that is illegal, and they're like, but these hardcore drugs we can't allow. Right. Like, but like, it makes sense that like anyone that you're going to have working there, like doing that work, you can't have on those type of drugs if it's supposed to be like a semi high class establishment brothel, right? Like, right. If they can't be like servicing customers high as shit, right?
Right.
Like, so, yeah, but so he explains that, like, yes, Ben Horn owns the place. Yes, he knew that Laura was there because he makes sure to entertain all of the new arrivals, which is upsetting.
Yes,
both in the new arrivals, but also like very specifically knowing the Laura Palmer thing. Yeah. I don't remember if we've seen this scene before, but I swear we've talked about it. That he had a picture of Laura Palmer on his desk, Ben Horn.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes. Yeah. We did talk about that.
Yeah, which makes that she worked there even for a week, and that they had like more upsetting. Like that's his friends, or at the very least his lawyer, like, who they seem to have some sort of a relationship with. The daughter of, like, that's it's so gross. Like the episode before this, talking about like respecting, like how no one actually respects Laura's body in death besides maybe Coop and arguably Albert, depending on how you think about it, right?
Think about it. Yeah, that's fair.
Like, you know, those two, but like specifically Coop. Leland wasn't able to be there. Ben was the stand-in. And so knowing for sure that this happened and like the weirdness there, like makes that so much worse. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so Audrey's threatening. There's this nice little echo where she's like, "Well, I'm Audrey Horton, and I get what I want, right?" And then like at the end, he kind of like almost like tauntingly says back to her like, "Well, yeah,
Right,
it's Laura
with
Palmer.
Laura.
She gets what she wants," which
Yeah.
we've known to be true, but not in the broader sense.
Yeah.
She gets what she wants on a micro scale, right? Like horrible things have happened to her, but like because of that, she knows how to like manipulate people and use her beauty and stuff to get what she wants, but like not in the actual sense of like someone to help save her from this horrible situation, but in ways to numb what she's going through.
Yeah.
But like the echo there is, and we know how that turned out for her.
Yes.
Right? Is like the idea. So yeah, it's that's tough. I don't think we see how this scene ends. Like, right? Like it just cuts away from here.
No, she just kind of ties him up and then I guess she leaves him there. I don't know.
Right. So my thing with that is like later we see that she's still there calling. Get the fuck off that boat. At that point, you have the information you need. And I'll get
like,
into
leave.
that. I'll get into that phone call later, which also upsets me for a similar reason. But like, don't make that phone call unless you're directly saying, "Here's exactly where I'm at. I need you to get me now."
Yes, exactly. Yeah, get me out of here. Or
she needed to leave that boat. She got the information. Like she needed to be off of there. Here's the thing. They have to be practicing safe BDSM there, right?
Sure, yeah.
It's like an establishment where the people being tied up like that, particularly him, like are paying for that experience.
Right.
If you're being tied up in BDSM stuff like that, important part of that is that the person being tied up has a way to untie themselves and get out, like in case of emergency.
Yes.
Like that is like a fundamental part of learning any of these knots.
Right.
The second she leaves, he can start undoing that and be good.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He's not going to be stuck there until someone rescues him. He's going to be out of there soon. That's my problem with her still being there. Like
that's fair. That's fair.
Or even if they didn't practice safe BDSM and he was left tied up, someone's going to rescue him soon enough. Why are you still there? Like you've blown your cover. Okay, whatever. That's fair.
Maybe Audrey, because she's not experienced in that kind of stuff, so maybe she thought, he's tied up. Like, bye. Yeah. You know, maybe that's like, it's not a great excuse, but it, you know, there's throwing Audrey a bone here.
Sure.
But yeah, I agree. It's not.
Oh.
Yeah. I was very confused by the next scene that happens with Audrey afterwards too. Like, it was confusing.
Is there anything about this scene that you really want to bring up? Because we get some interesting information here. So, but
I'm more. Yeah, the information was interesting. I'm more so focused on like, Audrey, you go girl boss. Like I was like, ooh, look at you go girl. But then it kind of bites her in the ass in the end. But like I thought that was very fun to watch Audrey. Cause like she out of the girls, like if I'm gonna call back to Miss Twin Peaks of like, you know, the queens, Donna, Shelley, Audrey, you know, out of all three of them, Audrey is definitely capable. Yeah. She is very much the, you know, I'm going to go do stuff now and actually look into Laura's death and stuff. So I was very proud of her in that moment, but that's it. That's really all the notes that they had of the scene.
Okay, yeah. I think it would work better if she actually got away, and then like the next few things, like, because like really what happens with her plotline after this that we remember? I mean, I know you have a gap, but like it's clear that she is still there for a long period of time. Just
she's there for a while. Yeah, exactly.
So she doesn't get a lot to do. You could have easily, just as easily have had it be like she gets away but is like stuck trying to get back, and it would have the same impact to the story. But at least then she is being successful. At least she is being yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. We get Bobby and Shelly in the car. Oh my God, they are so hot.
Yeah.
They start making out, and it's like they're like, this is at the end of the scene. They start making out, and they're like, it's like, these are two of the most beautiful people I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was about to say they both look like, very good in this scene.
Yeah. It's very sexy, just by the fact that it's two very hot people, hot for each other. The song starts with the scene starts with Audrey's dance. The name of the song is Audrey's Dance that we hear on occasion. And then Bobby's like, change the radio, and they change it. So like that is diegetic again, and it's like, why were they listening to that? Like that's such a weird thing to be on the radio. I love it. Not that the song that they change it to is also anything that'd be playing in the like in 90, right, or 89,
right?
But that's all fun. But yeah, so here we see the seeds of like the insurance plan, where like, because Bobby had called up pretending to be Leo's cousin, the quote that he gets is like, you'll get $5,000 a month for taking care of Leo, which like from their perspective, and like remember this is like 89 to 90, 5,000 a month is like good. Like
yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, so we can see why they were enticed by that and make the bad decisions that they do, not realizing that like a lot of that's already going to be taken out, and that's not nearly as much as they're actually going to be getting, which we find out is actually less than she would be paid to just be a divorced wife working at the diner.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we see this plan start to come together a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have much to say about that scene other than they look good.
Yes.
I like the lipstick color that Shelly is wearing. It looks very nice on her.
Yeah, speaking of lipstick color, well actually that's a couple of scenes later, but we'll get there. Yeah, so after this, we get Coop in his room where Major Briggs knocks on the door. Coop goes to get the door, and Major Briggs and Coop have like an interesting conversation here about like, any organization that's so tied to secrecy like lends itself to corruption, but at the same time, I've made a pledge to like not share information about what I'm doing, and like the secrecy is important, and like how both parts of that are true. It is nice to see him like call it out and also be like, but at the same time my hands are a little bit tied.
Yes.
Right? Like it's and Coop understands it. He's like, yeah, as a fellow, employee of the federal government, like I agree. I understand. And so that's when we get Major Briggs revealing a little bit of his work of like monitoring deep space satellites, and the garbage information that they get out from radio waves. And a couple of nights before, when Coop was shot, they got a message that said the owls are not what they seem. Yes. Followed up by Cooper's like, well, why are you telling me this? And it's like, well, it's for you. And he flipped it around, and it's like later in the morning it said Cooper. Yeah. So yeah, how are you feeling about all of this?
Oh man. Okay. Just as a note, when Coop is getting up from the bed and walking to the door to answer it, he walks like someone I've seen before, but I can't quite pinpoint like, I know he got shot and that's why he's walking like that, but the way that he's walking, he looks like someone, and I can't quite pinpoint who he walks like, but anyway.
Christopher Walken doing the sandworm dance.
Maybe. But yeah, I just like, he kind of like looks like someone from behind, but I can't quite pinpoint who it is. Yeah, I'm glad that we get a bit more information on Briggs and what he does. Like, I knew he was like into like secrecy, you know, government, space, blah, 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 blah. But it's nice to get like a wait, this is like what actually, you know, what I do kind of to Coop. And then the owls are not what they seem, paired with a scene later in the episode, is very fun and interesting.
Well,
I guess I'll bring it up.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, even at the end of episode 9, when we get them running, or like at the very end when they're like, "Where's Bob now?" and we see flying through the woods, and it's an owl, right? And then it's like it inverts the color at the end of the thing. Right?
I didn't clock that was Bob though. I did not clock that in that moment that was Bob. But yes, which is what I wanted. Which is why I want to bring up, like, during Coop's dream, how there's that shot of Bob at the end of the bed that we've seen before, but then it's overlaid with like owl's eyes.
Yeah.
Like, that's when it clocked to me. That in that moment in Coop's dream at the end, like, I was like, oh, I see what they're saying here with like the owls are not what they seem. And it was in this moment where I connected it together. Because yeah, we did see that scene before, but I just thought it was a random owl. Like, that did not clock to me that meant anything. That like, oh, the owls are not what they seem. Well, there's an owl. Like, that's what I mean by that. And so I'm glad I get that confirmation now with this of like, they've shit, like,
highlighted
the owls
are
working for it.
Yeah,
they've highlighted owls, but I didn't connect the owls to Bob. Like, that direct connection was never obvious. And so, like, yes, they have highlighted owls a lot, and like, the owls are not what they seem is a phrase that I have heard before in episodes that we watch, but I'm just happy that it's connected of like, oh, it's Bob and Bob is watching kind of deal.
Okay.
It's just nice to see that.
I definitely interpret that different, and this isn't me saying this with additional knowledge or anything.
Okay.
This is just a different interpretation entirely. Like, yes, Bob is part of that owl thing. I don't think owls and Bob necessarily are the thing. I think it's owls and like the spiritual Black Lodge stuff. Like, it's not just Bob.
Sure. Okay.
Is how I interpret it. There's not a confirmation or anything like that. But, And the only reason I was bringing up that they like bring up the owl stuff a lot is that like it is because even before this happened, like there were a lot of scenes of like you know, like Donna and James being spooked by owls, and like owls like just like it would cut away from a scene to like an owl watching or like stuff like that even before this in a lot of stuff. And so like it adds a retrospective layer of like that always felt uncomfortable, and then having it directly tied in of like it's not just there to make you uncomfortable, there's this additional layer to it.
Right.
I think it's interesting that he's saying like it's all deep space stuff, where it's like, is this aliens or is it spirits? Do we know? Right? It's fun. Is it aliens versus spirits, which is a different show? But, right? We later get confirmation, and I'm only bringing this up because I don't think it was back when you were tuning out a lot of this stuff. Not just say tuning out, but not invested in a lot of this stuff.
Yes, not invested for sure.
To be fair, it was in the worst parts of it, so like I don't blame you. But something that they highlighted in later season 2 is that like normally the monitors we were doing are for deep space, but they were pointed to a part of the woods when we got those messages. So they weren't pointed to deep space. They're actually like monitoring something in the woods with deep space monitors, which is way more wild.
Yeah. Okay. I see. Right? Okay.
So just throwing that out there as information you would have from a part where you were like, you were like, oh, it's all that
don't give a shit
bullshit. Which, to be fair, I mean, because that was fun, because like it's the journey you've been on is so interesting, of going from general to major, and from going like back then it was like the White Lodge bullshit, and now you're like aware of like, well, it's Black Lodge, and like there's this stuff because of season 3. You've latched onto new terms where it's like, oh, okay, like it's starting to fall into place a little bit. It's really interesting from my perspective, because like I remember back then, and I think I brought it up to you, being like a little bit worried of like, okay, if you're not vibing with this like White Lodge bullshit, as you put it, I don't know if this show's gonna be good for you. And I'm so glad we've turned a corner of like, no, that part was bad, and I agree, but like when they do it well, it's enough to recover. Like it's enough to like recover it from irrelevance. So that's been fun. But yeah, no, this is very interesting. I'm glad we got here for reasons I can't share with you.
Okay.
But yeah, this is again, it's some weird, interesting shit.
Yes.
And speaking of that, we then cut away to what I've titled as the song, all capitals.
The song.
The song. Because holy shit. Okay, so I can't. So James is there playing guitar. He's like, okay, we can do another take. And then he's playing guitar and he starts singing this song. Just you and I. Which doesn't suit him at all either. But it's like
it doesn't suit him at all. It doesn't.
It's so funny. If I'm not mistaken, that song was written by David Lynch and James Marshall, the guy who plays James.
Okay.
I think that's true. I'm 90% sure that he does actually sing it.
Okay.
Which is interesting in itself. But yeah, this fucking song, man. Oh man. Yeah, so they're just singing the song for a while, and eventually like Donna and James make some eyes real quick, and then he starts closing his eyes to vibe, and then he starts making eyes at Maddie, and they're making eyes at each other, and Donna gets upset by that, and she misses a few cues because she's upset, and it upsets me where I'm like, girl, you're recording, lock in. I know your heart's breaking, but you need to lock in. And she gets up and leaves. Is there anything about this song and this interaction that you want to talk about? Please talk about the song and the interactions. I can't.
I think it more so builds on what happens in the next half of the scene.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because this sets it up to be like this like saccharine kind of like teenage romance, like, oh, look at the drama building, look at like, you know, it's like this cute song or whatever, and then Donna runs off and James stops, and like they go and talk and kind of kiss a bit, and she's crying, and she's like she has a line here where she's like, I'm trembling, you made me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn.
Okay, girl.
Yeah. That would not work on me. Like, I don't care how attractive Laura Flynn Boyle is. I'd be like, excuse me? Like, it just feels like a lot.
Fair enough. Yeah,
right?
That's super fair.
There is this little cutaway that I like before we get into the scary bits, where like, as this is all happening, it cuts back to Maddie. And she's just kind of left sitting there, kind of like looking around.
Yeah, she's
like,
holding herself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Maddie.
Yeah, because that really brings it back down to like, oh, here's teenage romance, and also like, and somebody who's really getting hurt by that. Like everybody's hurting, but like, This is what I mean when I say that Cheryl Lee like acts circles around this group. Like the fact that she's bundled in with this group is both why I can be invested during the good parts, but also like why I'm like, oh, she deserved so much better than this, like to act around. And like we see that when she's put with like Ray Wise, when she's put with like other people,
right.
Like we get that, but like them going like she looks so like I don't want to necessarily say hurt, but like lonely and like what am I doing here? Like I think we've all experienced a moment like that. Right, where like it may not be romantic, but like you put yourself outside of like a comfort zone, or you put yourself in this different situation where you're like hanging with friends or you're doing something, and then like something happens and they walk off or they go do something else, and you're kind of there by yourself, and you're like,
right,
what am I doing here? What is why am I part of this?
Yeah,
right. That's like a very human thing that I think pretty much everyone's gone through at one point or another.
Yeah,
and
the way that Maddie is portrayed in this scene in particular is like we've talked about it before, like the tragedy of Maddie throughout this entire series, and this scene highlighted like she is the outsider. She is by herself. She is the one that sticks out like a sore thumb. And in this scene in particular, like, she has like that moment between James and her as she's singing, and like, it's like the blah, 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 awkward teenage romance, blah, 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 blah. But like it's just she's so, especially as the scene goes on, when the scary stuff happens, and like her isolation and the shots and how she's portrayed near the end of that is just like very, it feels purposeful, of like Maddie doesn't belong here.
Yeah.
And so I think I think the scene does a good job of that, of highlighting that especially.
Yeah, like I said, I think another fun project to do would be to recut this show about Maddie and end it on that, right? Because like this whole section is like a run of episodes is like knowing where it goes, the tragedy of Maddie, and like then the fact that she is not relevant to the rest, it makes it worse.
Yeah, I agree.
It's still, she's a stand-in for her cousin, and then it's still about her cousin.
Yes,
Laura Palmer's the one haunting the narrative. Maddie is just like there as a stand-in until she's killed.
Yes.
Like your current running theory is like as a replacement for Laura Palmer, and then after she dies, it's still just Laura Palmer again. And Maddie's like,
it's sad.
Yeah. Like even during like the death monologue in episode 9, it's all about like Laura Palmer's there waiting for him, and like all about what he did to Laura, which is horrible and horrific, to be clear. Like Laura definitely deserves her space here, and like all of that. But like it's tough watching some of this part of the show, knowing what happens to Maddie and the fact that it's not, I think you're absolutely right with like her being isolated and an outsider in this situation. And so while she's sitting there being like, what am I doing here? Bob first it shows us the empty frame of that, like where Bob's going to be, of like it's the couch and some stuff that like it's a weird camera placement too, because there's like the lamp is like really close to frame, and so is a table, and like it's an odd shot where it's like open but also cluttered. It really well put together.
Yes.
And then we cut back. There's a call that's being done for Donna. Donna answers the call, and while she's answering the call, we go back to this shot and get what I think is like again, this is like true horror shit.
Right. I agree.
But it's not like, again, like we've talked about before, like the way that Twin Peaks does horror is so different than most other things doing horror, right? Because it's like, I don't know how you make this type of horror, like this type of dread, like how you describe it, of like, he's just gonna walk out and then walk towards the center here, and we're just gonna hold on the still frame, and it's gonna be scary.
Yeah.
It's gonna be scary as shit. Like this scene freaks me out. Good job. Like I don't know. Right? Like I'll watch plenty of horror movies and like, but like, and you know, I guess a lot of horror stuff does do this too, but it's just, it's so masterfully done. And also hard to describe. Like if you were to describe this scene as like one of the scariest moments, or the scariest moment of the episode for sure, right? And you're like, hey, here's what happens in it. I don't think anyone who doesn't watch it would be like, how is that scary? Right. But
I really liked that scene with Bob because one thing that I liked, like it's still super uncomfortable and scary to watch. And I like that, like, I knew that it was coming too, because it's reflected with Ronette, right? Of how Coop brings the paper closer to Ronette's face, and then it's just Bob's eyes staring on the camera for a little bit. And then, you know, it's reflected again back of like, we know Bob is coming. Like, we know that he's gonna be up close, very personal with the camera. He's back there right now. And as he moves closer, it is scary. And like, we know it's coming. And so like, you know, like when I associate, especially modern horror, like I associate modern horror with like jump scares, right?
Sure,
like oh, scary thing, it's scary. But like there is something so sinister about Bob and like how he's portrayed that adds to like the tension and his horror of like, oh my God, he is coming over the couch now. God, look away. And then
the way he climbs over the couch too is just like, how is that creepy? Like, it is creepy. Like, but he just like steps and crawls over it back, like he's crawling over the back of it, but it is like right? Like I think it's partially like the singular focus that he has, and like just the way he moves his mouth constantly is super creepy. But like it's, goddamn, this scene is great.
It's good.
It's so good. It has everything. It has the saccharine romance. It has teenage drama that all leads to horrific tragedy. Like, and it is tragedy because it is like highlighting like knowing what we know about her. But even if you didn't, like her seeing this and having it, you're like, oh, she's dead. Right. Like, unless something happens to save her, she is the next one.
Yeah, she's marked. Yeah,
that is really what this is. And like that makes it both tragedy, and I think like marking someone like that is like a fundamental part of horror as well. Right. Like you think of movies like It Follows, right, where like the big thing of that isn't like a lot of jump scares. It's like the thing in the background just constantly coming in closer into frame. Right. Like it's kind of that vibe. But this came first. But like, it's just powerful and simplistic simultaneously. It's something I want to highlight, and I thought this like at the time, is that like part of it is like there's one cutaway from him walking towards, which I don't know if I don't know if I like it or not, but I think part of what sells it at the very least is that Cheryl Lee is so fucking good at being terrified. Because she is like freaking the fuck out and not making any noise yet, and is just selling him with her eyes, and it's perfect. I don't know if I'd like that better than just staying on the shot or not. You know, jury's out for me on that, but like she does a great job. And then like as he gets really into the camera, right? She's like she starts screaming and like doing that, and she does that so well. I think she is like,
she does.
She like there's a lot of like horror queen, they call them like scream queens, right? Like I I think she is the best of it, and I every time I watch this and I see like season 3, all of this, like anything she's in, I'm like, how does she not have a better career? How is she not like a fundamental part? Like, she's a fundamental part of horror history because of Fire Walk with Me in the show, but like, how is she not like bigger than that? She's
that's fair. That's
so good. Like, a lot of the screams are like, they'll add like a terror to it and they'll add like whatever, but like she adds an extra layer of emotionality to it, right? Like you were saying, like the loneliness and stuff, like that's added into her like screaming and being terrified here. Is like she feels isolated by all of it, and you can feel that. It's so good. All right. Anything else you want to say about that before we get to?
No, I think it was it's a good scene overall. Yeah. Like it's the singing again awkward, but like it has to play out like that for the scene to work. Yes, and I love that about it. So.
I'm a big proponent of that. I've had to defend that scene against a few people I've shown this to already of like of that first part of the scene, and I'm like, no, the reason why it plays so strong in the second part is because we start off this way. Like, I'm
you're not guarded.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
So then we are back to Coop's room. We get a little bit of a view of the giant waving his hand in front of Coop's face.
Yep.
Coop is having a dream, which is where we see some of the segments of like, this episode's really obsessed with like Bob's face being like blurred and coming into focus, or like, or just like him getting really close and then blurring it again. Like I think that's an interesting motif throughout the scene, this episode, because like we get a little bit of him being just walking in a black background and being out of focus, and it comes into focus and he's being creepy as shit. Like, again, like I already gave Frank Silva his flowers, but holy shit, like he is so scary. And by all accounts, a wonderful guy. Like, you know, like rest in peace. Like, you did something amazing here. Like, holy shit. But what else do we see there besides him behind the bed thing, which we've seen once before? Yeah, you've seen that scene already?
Yes. But him behind the bed.
Yeah, this time.
I don't remember what else. There's a bunch of other scenes I don't remember.
Yeah. This time when he's behind the bed, his face warps into an owl. Which is very interesting because it's like the full body of an owl. You would think it would just be like a face or something, like map it onto, but they don't even try to map it onto there, which I think works for it being unnatural. But I've heard people when talking about this being like, yeah, that's weird. I don't know if it works. I think it works because it looks more unnatural. I think that's the vibe it's going for. But yeah. Rather than just turning into an owl. Yeah, so we get that dream sequence, and then Coop gets a call from Audrey.
Yes.
He picks up the phone. Audrey is like, hey, it's me. And he's like, hey, go home. We don't do your schoolgirl stuff here. And she's like, doesn't convey information. She's like, oh, you look so good in your tuxedo. And it's like, girl, say where you're at the very least. Oh, she opens with like, why aren't you here?
Yeah. Like, what do you mean?
And it's like, Audrey, you need to go home. And then rather than realizing that she should say, why are you here at One Eye Jack's? I'm at One Eye Jack's. Something, anything. Why are you calling here in a different... She's in a different outfit than she was before. She changed clothes after leaving the dude tied up. Oh, I can't with this.
Audrey.
Why are you flirting with him while you need rescuing if you can't get off the boat? Why are you flirting being like, you look so good in your tuxedo? Be like, I saw you in your tuxedo at One Eye Jack's. This is where the episode ends with like someone hanging up the phone, and then we see that it's like Blackie and the manager.
Blackie
and that's
the manager.
Yep.
Yeah, Audrey's girl boss moment from earlier is definitely diminished a little bit by this ending scene.
yep, a little bit.
It's just too darn bad. Oh well. So yeah, that's
anything.
Yeah.
You want to mention about that scene, or you're just like disappointed in Audrey a little bit?
Yeah, disappointed in Audrey a little bit.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Okay.
So, hey, having talked through it, any overarching thoughts that you have about the episode? Things you liked, didn't like, etc., etc., etc.
There was not a dull moment in this episode. Like, even the quote unquote slow parts were still very good. Very, very well done episode. I quite liked it a lot.
Yeah. I rate this episode highly. I think that comes across pretty clearly. I think that the segment with the song and the Bob is great. Mini David Lynch and Grandma is great. Like you said, like there's not a dull moment. Even when it's like slower, it's either being comedy or dread, and I love that. Right?
Yep.
And it plays both perfectly. I think this shit's wonderful. Why I rate it where I do. Okay, so looking through what's coming up next, it's really hard to say whether this is better than any of the episodes coming up. Is the problem.
Okay. Okay. I see.
I think it laps everything we've seen so far.
Okay.
I think this episode's wonderful, but like going through what's coming up, I think there's only one episode that you could argue would be worse, and I have an argument for why it's better. And then everything else, it's just like, we're in it. You know, I keep saying that we're in it now. Like we've been in it for a little while, but like, it's hard to say that this should rate higher just purely because of how good everything else is coming up.
That's fair.
It's not a reflection of the quality of this episode. Right. Like, so that's why I rate it where I do.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, do you agree with my rankings so far?
I do. I think this is the best episode that we have seen so far. Like this, like it has everything that I have been like asking for with an episode. Like there's been episodes that's like just the true crime stuff, right? Where like I love those episodes, but like my complaint with them is like, you know, I don't have a reason to be invested in the supernatural stuff because like they don't really give me a reason to, right? And then there's like those supernatural focused episodes where I'm like, I kind of miss the true crime. Like where is the Laura stuff that I'm asking for, you know, like where is that coming into play here? And so the fact that this episode blends the two together so well, I think is why, like, I think this is what I was expecting of Twin Peaks from what I've heard, like indirectly or directly, like I didn't know anything about Twin Peaks going into it, but I did know of David Lynch, and I think this is what I was expecting with when you told me you wanted to do this project. And so yeah, I'm just very happy with this episode, that it's just overall very good. It blends the two things that I like about the show very well together. Yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah, so looking at the short view of the past, because I think that again, you know what Twin Peaks is about at this point. If you didn't, I would be worried for your mental health. So that said, well, to a degree, I think you could only really know what it's about when you get to the end, but like for what it's like about while you're in it, like I think it'd be useless to ask you that.
Okay.
But as always, so with a short view of the past of like the last few episodes we watched, what is Twin Peaks about for you? What are we seeing thematically through these episodes?
Through these episodes, it is like I've mentioned this before in a previous podcast episode that we've done, but it is a very good reflection of certain societal issues that like it shines a spotlight on them that I think is I like how it reflects back on society without holding back, but also it does it in a way that's easy to digest. I like that they don't shy away from it doesn't censor itself. Like, for example, with Shelley and Leo, she just straight up asks, like, is he a vegetable?
Yeah.
It's just like I like that honesty. And then later she, like, her and Bobby in the car, like, they are seriously considering, like, Leo gets disability and it's $5,000 a month and it's a lot of money. I like that because like that happens in real life, but no one really talks about it because it's such a awful thing to say, get disability because of my partner's friggin', disability. But like, I like it's stuff like that where it shines a moment on like these things in society that we know is going on, but we're too afraid to address it, especially with the previous episode of like, Bobby calling out everyone in the funeral of like, we all played a part in Laura's death and everyone did. And like everyone played a part and like everyone did like their own bad thing and he calls everyone out for it and they all did in different ways. And like that happens in real life. And it's just a commentary on like how the town deals with stuff like this. And I think it's just very well done in that sense. The show does a good job of like digesting it, but also making it interesting because like it's different when it's like a documentary. Like, there could be a documentary about, adults selling drugs to high school students in a true crime kind of sense, but no one's going to really pay attention to that, right? Like, no, there's only there's a certain subsection of people that watch documentaries like that actually care about issues like that. And like everyone can say that they care about issues about high school students being fed drugs and drug use in high school, but like when it's shown in a way like this where it's digestible and makes it for anyone can like care about it is like, I think that's really important in media and why media literacy is so important when you have a project like this and a show like this that really can say so much without saying a lot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like the show says so much, but you have to infer it a lot from the episodes, and I think the show does a really good job of like leading you to those conclusions, leading that audience. So yeah, I think it is a good show. I'm a fan.
No, I really like that interpretation because like if we bundle that even with like the episode that came before in season 3, episode 5, where we had the mom in the house on drugs and like we were talking about societal ills and then like Bobby calling it out in that episode, and then in this one, kind of like still feeding back into that. There's also this like running thing of like how we treat like mental health and like people in crisis. Not even necessarily mental health, but like people in crisis. Right. Is like we see this mom and this child clearly in crisis, like needing intervention and help. The next episode says no one's doing anything about that, and then following episode here, we see somebody who's lined up next for the chopping block. We see Ronette, who is comatose from the things that are happening there in this way. And you have like Leo, who has all this information of like stuff going on that they need to like solve all of these problems, and instead is going to be used as like a cash cow or whatever, right? And so that there is a thing, a running theme throughout those episodes. I think there's also a thing in here, looking at it, of like outsiders in these 3 episodes, if we bundle them together, right? Because in season 3 we have like oh my God, Dougie.
Yeah.
like an outsider in this world, clearly outside of the world.
Yeah.
Right, but like he's clearly this outsider coming, like having to suddenly be thrust into this situation, and like the way that that's treated with like an amount of hostility as they're learning to adapt to a new situation,
right?
Almost in an extreme, like in an extreme sense. And then in the next episode that we watch, we have Albert coming in as an outsider, trying to do his job, trying to do what's right. He's trying to do what's right for this community, but because like he doesn't know the rules of engagement for this community, he's hit. He's not allowed to do his job. And then here we have an outsider who is trying to fit in this community, but is alone and is now marked for death because she is so isolated. And so like we see these different ways of people treating outsiders to what their like normalized thing is, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is really interesting, and I don't know if that's necessarily in the regular text of the show, but has appeared because of the way that we're watching it, that I think is actually really fucking cool, because like it's creating this through line in this way, because like Coop never feels like an outsider to Twin Peaks,
right?
He takes to it like a fish to water. So like but with this bundle of episodes, it's created this narrative of like the outsider, right? And the different ways that can lead to different issues, right? So yeah, lots of things going on here, and I think that it's fun that can all coexist. Especially if you watch it wrong. We're watching this wrong, and there's still powerful thematic shit that just appears from it. Like, that's cool as shit. Oh man, I do love this show. Hey, but yeah, so with that in mind, what do you think happens next in the show, and then what do you think happens in the next episode we watch? Oh, I do want to say real quick, I rate this episode highly. IMDb only rates it 2 episodes higher, so we're pretty close to the IMDb one on that one. Yeah.
Okay. Where are we at? Season 2, episode 2.
24.
Oh, ooh, okay. The next episode, without spoiling too much, is the furthest we have gone timeline-wise.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited. I want to see... Man, there's so much I want to see. Like, I want to see old characters make appearances, but I also want to see Matthew Lillard come back. But I also want to see more Coop stuff. Like, there's so much going on there, you know. I there's a lot I want to see in that episode, basically.
Who's the old character, like the number one character you want to see come back that's in season 1 and season 2? Spoilers, it's in season 3, since you did say it's the farthest we're gonna go, but you don't know what episode, and that's important because, like, as you can imagine, a lot of shit happens in season 3, so like not knowing which one is still a mystery. What episode do you want to see come back, or what character?
The more I see of him, the more I want to know what happened. I want to see what happened with Bobby. Bobby is like there's something about Bobby that I want to see more of, what happened between him and Shelly, because it seems like, I don't know if him and Shelly are still together, because Shelly mentions like her daughter, but she didn't say anything about a husband. So
her daughter, Amanda Seyfried.
Yes. And then I also want to see, I want to see, I'm sad that I didn't get to see Matthew Lillard in the last season 3 episode that we watched. So I want to see more of his storyline.
Okay.
So those are the 2. And maybe Audrey? Yeah, I'm going to put 3. Bobby, Audrey, and Matthew Lillard.
All right. I think that's fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you think happens next in the chronological episode after? Oh, wait, no, because you've seen 3 and 4, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, because 3 was the one that just came out. Yeah, that's right. So that's useless to ask you. There's only a few things you're missing. I can't ask you that anymore. Alrighty. Yeah. I think that does it then.
Yay!
Yeah, so, anything you want to plug here real quick? Anything fun going
on? Subscribe to Mac the Void on youtube.com/@MacTheVoid.
Hey, thanks. You're on YouTube too, yeah?
Yeah, I guess I am. Yeah.
Well, at least follow her on Twitch, and then as she does some YouTube stuff, she'll update you on the Twitch that she's doing YouTube stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
So go follow her at January K. Okay. Yeah, I think that does it. So, remember, save the pine weasel.
And brush your teeth.